Well, we just published a podcast that me and Lindsay did with Chris Snowden, and he called it a defensive win. I think there was a lot of worries that the WHO were going to throw the kitchen sink at reduced risk products because they hadn't met together. This is the first meeting together they'd had since I think it was Geneva in 2018 because the because COP9 was virtual because of the pandemic, and then we were meant to be having, or they were meant to be having COP10 in November, and then, well, their reason for postponing it was apparently unrest in Panama. We're not too sure about that. We might maybe think it was more to do with contracts that they didn't get right for the venue, but for whatever reason, they had to hold it in February, and it was noticeable that instead of the 190 odd delegations, there were lots of empty seats, and the FCTC Secretariat head Adriana Marquito Blanco said that they had 142 delegations. So we know that it wasn't a full complement. So you can't really make a lot of decisions if you haven't got all of those countries there. It runs on consensus. So if you're losing people, you reduce your chances of coming to consensus on anything. So they always say it was historic decisions. They made some decisions that were pretty mundane. Article 19 on liability, Article 18 on environment, and Article 2.1, which is just something that has always been in the treaty anyway. They just sort of focused on it, but there was nothing really earth-shattering. There was nothing really. I mean, they were discussing novel and emerging products, but that could have come out with some sort of proposals for moving forward. It could have come out with working groups or some way of advancing the agenda to try and ban those products, but that didn't materialize. And even on Articles 9 and 10, which is to do with testing and emissions, ostensibly that's just about combustible tobacco products. But there were some reports that went on that agenda item which were hinting at the way they were going to maybe go for nicotine pouches and other products, harm reduction products. But that didn't really happen because they couldn't stop discussing it. It's been pushed out to COP11, and we had St. Kitts and Nevis, one of the smaller nations in the Caribbean, put forward a proposal saying that if we're talking about testing emissions and you're talking about maybe widening the net of those articles to other products, then we need to talk about Article 1D and harm reduction, and you should be taking more account of that. And they discussed this for 5 days, didn't come to any decision, and have had to say we'll come back and talk about it again in COP11, which is to be held somewhere undetermined right now because they didn't get any offers for hosting it. So we don't know where the next one's going to be.